Fantastic Mr. Fox showcases how few words can mean a great deal. Within the film, phrases like "I'm a wild animal," "I am an athlete," "You are different" are repeated over and over again. All mean different things within the context of the film, but they share a similar idea, that being, what does it mean to be fantastic? For Ash, the answer is to be a star athlete. All throughout the film, he repeats a similar line. "I think I'm an athlete. I prefer to be an athlete." Ash is counted out time and time again for being too small or too different, making him a target for school bullies, and being misunderstood by his father. Mr. Fox states, "I guess he's just different," when seeing his outfit, not understanding that he's dressed up like his favorite superhero, White Cape. So why is being an athlete so important to Ash? Well, there could be a number of reasons, one being to get his father's approval. All throughout the film, Mr. Fox never really pays attention to his son reading the newspaper instead of watching his son dive into the pool, never letting him join in on heists, never giving him a bandit hat.
Where's my bandit hat?
Being an athlete would be that one thing that both could bond over, but I think it goes a bit deeper than that. Ash wants to prove himself, yes. However, some of his desires to be an athlete come from the comic book hero he reads about, wanting to be the hero, to be fantastic just like White Cape. However, he can't, because there's already a naturally talented character shining brighter. That being Christopherson. He's athletic and smart, with a quiet type of confidence to boot. This is Ash's rival, the boy he wishes he was. Christopherson is all of the things that Mr. Fox wants in a son, watching in awe as Christopherson dives into the pool without a splash, inviting him to join in on a heist early on. Plus, he knows karate. Christopherson is the hero. He's fantastic, and that bugs Ash, making him resort to conniving and scheming to ruin his cousin's reputation. Ash might read a lot of superhero comics, but he's not acting heroic at all. He's more like a villain, getting frustrated that his cousin is better than him at every little thing, showing just how insecure Ash is. All throughout Ash's story, there are two important phrases that he says.
Do you think I'm an athlete? Well, I think I'm an athlete. I'm not different. Am I?
In both lines, he seeks approval from his parents, wanting them to answer his existential question, when in reality, the only person that can answer these two questions is himself. At this moment, Ash has no confidence to be fantastic. He doesn't believe it to be possible. It's only when the chips are down we see Ash's confidence in not being an athlete but being small, fitting in between some small bars to save Christopherson. That same type of confidence comes when Ash releases the rabies-infested beagle on the farmers later on, showcasing his skills as an athlete and winning his father's approval. The important thing is, Ash doesn't showboat or say, "I told you so," because at this point he already knows how fantastic he is. All throughout the film, Ash had natural animal instincts. He was able to sneak up on his father and was able to escape being captured. Without the label of being an athlete or being different, Ash is able to embrace himself for who he is and understanding that even the smallest quirks can be a great asset. When it comes to Mr. Fox, being fantastic means embracing your inner wild animal, even if it means giving up your responsibilities as a father. Mr. Fox is too smart for his own good, coming up with plan after plan to outdo himself, and in the process, angering 3 farmers. One being Michael Gambon, better known as Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies. It's just really odd to see him as an antagonist here. When these 3 angry farmers go after Mr. Fox, he ends up hurting more than just his pride. Uprooting his family, that sounds awfully familiar. Not only that, but endangering the lives of the animals in the forest as well. Ash may have an insecurity problem, but Mr. Fox struggles with self-identity, trying to figure out the deepest question of all. Who are you? Is he a wild animal who desires to revert back to his old ways, or is he a father who needs to look out for his family? Within the film, Mr. Fox shifts from one extreme to the other, first promising to never steal another bird again, and in the beginning, that's what he does. And we see just how unsatisfied he is, writing a newspaper column that nobody reads, and living in poverty. He says, "I don't want to live in a hole anymore. It makes me feel poor." Mr. Fox feels insignificant because he feels he's not able to provide for his family. As he ponders the deeper question, the call of the wild gets louder and louder, breaking his promise and reverting back to stealing, finding a sense of joy that he hasn't felt in years. That sounds pretty familiar as well. Mr. Fox gives in to his desires of wanting more material possessions. This ultimately isn't a bad thing, but it gets to the point where his self-worth is dependent on his success as a hunter, or his traits as a fox. Buying first a new house, and when that's not enough, he starts stealing. At this point, this is what being fantastic looks like in his eyes, because it fills him with happiness. Even though he's happy, that doesn't mean that he's right. After Dumbledore and the other farmers destroy his new house, he goes right back to living in a hole. This time, it's because of the consequences of breaking his promise, simply explaining the reason to be because I'm a wild animal. At this point, he doesn't regret what he's done, still thinking he can solve the problem himself, with his wits as a fox, thinking the best way of solving the problem is by stealing some more, which does help the community, but it enrages Dumbledore some more. My goodness, I've never seen him so angry before. Oh wait, yes I have.
How did you put your name in the cover of the fire?
Anyways, Mr. Fox still sees himself as clever and above everyone, stealing Mr. Badger's thunder by cutting into his speech. It's only when Christopherson is kidnapped and everyone almost drowns that he realizes that he's in too deep, settling on the idea of just giving up so everyone else can live, apologizing to both his wife and son for messing everything up. At this moment, still thinking he can solve the problem by himself, still wanting the title of Mr. Incredible, Fantastic Mr. Fox. If he gives himself up, he'll be redeemed, when in reality, he'll just be another fox that the farmers want to capture. If he let the farmers take him, his redemption will be for nothing. He'll be like Defoe Rat. He'll be just another dead rat in a garbage pail behind a Chinese restaurant. After seeing the pointless death of the rat, Mr. Fox lets go of his self-importance, embracing the community's pure talents and animalistic instincts, and with the group effort, they're able to defeat Dumbledore's army. I mean the farmers. At the end, when Mr. Fox confronts his biggest phobia, the wolf, he finds the answer to his biggest question. Mr. Fox is a wild animal, but that's not all. He's a wild animal with strengths, like with his encouraging speeches, and flaws, like his impulsiveness. He uses his innate abilities to provide for his family, learning that material items can come and go, but to be fantastic is to be content. I know this video has a different theme in mind, but I want to shed some light on another fantastic Mr. Fox video that explores the message of being content versus being happy. It's really well done, and I'll link it in the card above. The reason Mr. Fox was able to win against the farmers in the end is because he stopped thinking like a hunter, stopped thinking like them. All throughout the film, Dumbledore is the farmer to beat, never giving up his control to the others. As a result, he's stuck in his old ways, never becoming content with his life. Even though he's a farmer who could just make more cider, his desire for control overtakes him, never having time to settle down to have a meal with his kid. Although we don't see this man outside of hunting Mr. Fox, it seems likely that he'll never give up control or become content. He'll never become fantastic because he's blind by his desires. That big difference is why the Fox family and company were able to win at the end of the day. The definition of fantastic can mean a number of things. To Ash, it's finding inner confidence. For Mr. Fox, it's being content. The others have different quirks that make them valuable as well. In the final rescue mission, Mr. Fox gives a pep talk how all of them are different but still important. Within this speech, he embraces who they are by stating their Latin name and asking what they can do. Mrs. Fox, or Meryl Streep, is a skilled landscape painter. Mr. Mole can see in the dark, and Mr. Badger is a demolitions expert. All seem like small little quirks that aren't really that important, but they are. Each one of these skills has value. Meryl Streep Fox uses her skills to paint a map of the town above. It's pretty impressive that she's able to remember a mental image of what this town looks like. Then we have Mr. Mole, whose skill of seeing in the dark comes into play as the eyes and ears of the whole mission, reporting in on everyone's whereabouts. The demolitions expert, Mr. Badger, comes in handy because he's able to set everything ablaze. At first glance, you would think that a ragtag group of animals wouldn't be able to win against farmers. They did because they embraced their quirks and thought outside the box. We all want the title of being fantastic, whether that be for our athleticism, creativity, charisma, or whatever. Sometimes our desire to be fantastic blinds us from our true selves. Wanting to be the flashiest, or wanting approval from others. At the end of the day, we're all different, and that's okay, because those differences help us bring a new perspective that maybe others haven't seen. Even within the smallest of quirks, there can lie a great deal of value, and to me, that's pretty fantastic. This was my first time watching this wonderful movie, so I have no doubt that I've missed some details. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this video, you might enjoy this playlist of other fun films we've explored. Hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.